Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome back to another in-home repair video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. Oh, we're working on a Whirlpool estate top freezer. The customer's complaint was that the fresh food section didn't seem to be cooling properly. Freezer section seems to be cooling all right. The first thing we looked for, the compressor itself is running. When you open the freezer, you don't hear the evaporator fan motor running. So we're assuming we've probably got a bad evaporator fan motor here. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically pull the cover off here and get access to it, check, make sure we have voltage going to the fan. Stop. Before beginning any repair, always be sure to disconnect the power to the appliance. It is also recommended to test the outlet for proper voltage. The tools that you'll need to complete this repair are a volt ohm meter, a 1/4 inch nut driver, and a small flat blade screwdriver. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and remove the 5 1/4 inch screws we have back here. The first one we're going to start with is the one for the cover here. Get that off. Pull our cover off. You just got your ground screw that's back here. Go ahead and, our ground harness there, we'll just pull that off. And go ahead and get the rest of the 1/4 inch screws. And just go ahead and grasp right here. Kind of peel your panel down. Pull this cover piece away. Pull this off. And now we've got access to the evaporator fan motor. Now at this point, the first thing you can do is just spin the evaporator fan motor blade by hand. If it's tied up or not spinning freely, that's a pretty good indication that your fan motor is shot. A lot of times that'll be a noisy fan motor or something along those lines, but this fan's not running. What we're going to do is, we've got the power off to it. We're going to go ahead and remove the 2 wires to the fan. And we are going to take our meter, set the meter to voltage. And what we're going to do is plug the unit back in. So at this point we verified we've got 120 volts going to the fan motor and the fan's not running. So what we're going to do is just unplug it. Now at this point we're going to go ahead and unplug the unit and replace the fan motor. Now to remove the fan motor, we've already got 2 of our wires disconnected off of it, the line voltage in neutral. We're going to go ahead and remove the ground screw. And the other screw on the opposite side. Now our fan motor will come out. We're just going to disconnect our ground wire. Now at this point what you're going to want to do is just kind of remember the general orientation of the fan motor itself. So when you put it back up there, basically it's going to be upside down with the terminals facing to the left. So we'll go ahead, we'll pull our fan blade off, set that off to the side, and remove our 2 1/4 inch screws on the bracket here. Be careful when you're removing these screws. A lot of times if they're kind of seized up or rusted, especially if you're using a drill, it'll want to just kind of tweak the whole bracket and you can cut your hand by spinning the bracket. But you'll just go ahead and pull this off. Make sure your clear grommet stays in place there. And pull it off on the back side. Make sure that that grommet stays in place and it's not stuck on the back of the fan motor. Just set them down the way they came off, and your fan motor's removed. Now we've got our new fan motor. We're going to go ahead and install it back onto the bracket. So again, make sure your terminals are facing to the left and the motor's basically upside down. Put it in the back side of the bracket. Front bracket on. Now that we've got our fan motor mounted to the bracket, we're going to go ahead and just reconnect our terminals. Get your ground, which is the small green one, and your red and your white wires. Doesn't make a difference which wire goes to which side. You're just completing a circuit. And go ahead and just start with the screw on the right hand side. And the one here on the left, you've got your ground terminal that's going to go through there. All right. Now at this point you can go ahead and just kind of position the fan motor into the upright position there. Now we can go ahead and push our fan blade onto the shaft. Give it a spin, make sure it spins freely. Now before you put your back cover and everything on, you can just power it up just to make sure that the fan is going to run. We can see our fan motor is running. So now we'll go ahead and disconnect power again, put our cover back on. Now we're going to go ahead and reinstall our back cover. Let's drop it down into place there. Push a little ground strap on there. First two screws you're going to want to hit are these ones in the middle here. On each side, those are what mount the back panel to the fan bracket. So if the fan's kind of out of position for any reason, you'll know those are the only two screw holes that potentially could change where they're at. Now you've only got these other two here and your back cover piece. So we'll go ahead and put this little cover piece on there. Your short 1/4" screw. Now we've got the two longer 1/4" screws for this little lower trim piece. Just drops down into place. Kind of get them going a little bit by hand. That way you can feel if you're actually hitting the hole. Go ahead and tighten them down. Now we're going to just power it up one last time. Make sure that the fan blade isn't rubbing or anything along those lines. So we got the fan running. You can feel the air coming through here. Basically close the freezer. Put your hand underneath in the refrigerator section. Just make sure you got the airflow coming down, that your air passage isn't frozen, and that's going to complete the repair. Thank you for watching another quality video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.